class to your second period in Mr. Drew's classroom. Yesterday we talked about taking notes on a couple different note styles. Today we're going to talk about 2 more note styles today. All right? I know you're just rip-roaring and ready to get into that history, but these skills are going to help you for the rest of your life. It's really going to help you when you get to college and you don't have fancy little note packets. And it's good for all sorts of other things, grocery lists, taking notes out of a book when we do research papers later on. So, first thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the category style of note-taking. Has anyone heard of the category style of note-taking before? Probably not. That's fair. So, the way this is going to work is you're going to create like a chart. Sometimes it's also called the charting style. So what you're going to do, if you'll pardon me, I couldn't get the tech to work today, but that's okay. We're going to make this work anyways. You are going to...
Excuse me, Mr. Jones.
Certainly.
We need paper because I
You
forgot
will need
for
paper,
today.
guys. You don't have paper? Does anyone have paper for Jessica?
I do, but it's small.
Thank you.
Anyone else need paper today? So you're going to create a chart. You know what? This isn't good. I'm going to show it to you, and this is how we're going to do this. I'm going to show it to you on paper, and then we're going to send it around, and you guys are going to go through it. I'll walk you through the instructions on how to do that first. So you're going to create a charting style of notes. On top, you're going to have categories going across. It might be, so this is a chart note on different types of note styles. So this one has, on the top, you have method, description, where to use it, pros and cons. And then going down, it has different styles of notes. It has the outline style and the Cornell style, which we talked about yesterday. It has boxing style and charting style. We're not going to talk about boxing style, actually. I don't like it. So here's how we're going to do this.
Why don't you like it?
It's basically the charting style, but not as good.
Why isn't it as good?
Not my taste.
Okay.
So here's how we're going to do this. You all have a piece of paper?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to pass this to Jessica, and you're going to just do a quick outline. You don't have to write all the words down, just chart it out, and then pass that to the next person. We're going to go around while I'm talking about this. Does anyone have a real preference as to why they might like or dislike this style of note-taking?
I wish we could do it together.
Do it together? I do too, but I couldn't get the technology to work.
No, I wish we could chart it together.
Chart it together?
Can we do
Well,
that?
Later on, we're going to do a podcast, and you're going to go through one of the styles that you like best. You're going to do it by yourself, but then tomorrow, we're going to go over all the styles again.
Okay, I like that.
What's a podcast?
Podcast is it's like a radio show that's recorded, and then it's put on TV, on the internet, and you can listen to it anytime you want.
Are we doing that in groups?
Tomorrow, we won't be doing that in groups, but we might be doing groups on Thursday.
Well, I don't want to work with Ben because I don't like him.
Well, we'll work on that later.
Thank
Does
you.
anyone want to talk about
I can't read
the
this
note?
one.
Oh, you don't have to write all the words down. That's
Oh,
Cornell.
okay.
That's okay. I just want you guys to get a feel for the look of it. Take it and pass it down. Basically, your charting style is going to look like this. It's going to be bars going down and bars going across, so it's a big grid pattern. Now, you can do it a couple different ways. You can do just sidebars and whatnot, but this is the main style. And what this is going to be is you're going to have categories for your notes. Now, say we're talking about the American Revolution. You might have a bar that says dates. You might have a bar that says important people. And then on the side, you might have bars that say things like major themes and how these relate to them. And you're going to try and put them in the square where they belong. Anyone have any questions on the charting style? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Thumbs up if you do. Most of you, Ben, do you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's good, because sometimes I worry about myself. So the next style we're going to talk about is going to be the sentence style. But first I want to make sure this gets all the way around, so that everyone has a basic outline.
No, stop.
Allison?
That's just rude.
That's all right. Hey, she can take her time.
Thank you.
What kind of categories would you guys think of? Say we were doing something on the Boston Tea Party. Do you guys remember the Boston Tea Party? Nobody remembers
Threw all
Boston
the
Tea
tea
Party?
off that boat.
Yes, they threw the T. Do you remember why they did that? They were
They were
angry.
mad at me, angry.
They were angry. They were angry about a series of taxes called the tea taxes, which forced the colonists to pay more for their tea than they previously did. And they were mad because of something called taxation without representation. The British Parliament was taxing them without giving them an opportunity to represent themselves.
What's a parliament?
Excellent question. We're going to talk more about that in government, but Parliament is a governing body where people are elected to vote based on how the laws should be passed. Not quite like the republic that we have, but it's similar. So what kind of categories would you come up with for a situation like that? Anybody have an idea for a category? Rob?
Dates.
Dates. That's a good one. So it's one date, but you could have something along the lines of, if we were talking in the greater picture of what led up to the Boston Tea Party, dates would be really important one.
Maybe like important people.
Important people. Excellent. There was an organization that was involved called the Sons of Liberty, and they've been involved in a lot of protest-like actions like that. That would be something that you might want to keep in there. Anyone have any other category ideas?
Events.
Events. Like what events led up to the Boston Tea Party? What led to the taxation? And we're going to be talking about all of this more in depth in our next unit on the American Revolution. But this is all good to get you guys thinking about it ahead of time. Everybody's had a chance to see it? Okay. We're going to move on to the next model. Thank you very much. Next model is very, very simple. It's called the sentence model. And this is the one that every college student teaches themselves within the first 5 days of college. All you do is when you hear something that seems important, you write a short sentence about it. And then you move on, and you can do it in bullet points like we did with the style yesterday, the outline method, but you don't have to. Carla?
Our own sentence or what you said?
Your own sentence, or if you want to quote, you can do what I said.
Okay.
But you just want to make sure the important information is put into the sentence so you can study it later.
How do we know it's important?
That's a good question. Usually your lecturer will give you clues. They'll emphasize something.
You mean
or
a teacher?
Teacher, yes.
Okay.
In college, you'll be listening to lecturers, but you got a little while for that. So if I have, one really good clue is if I have something up here and I'm saying it to you, and I both say it to you and it's up there, that's usually pretty important. Another thing, if it's something that I'm saying that I think is important but isn't up there, I'll usually emphasize it, or I'll point and say you should probably write that down, or this is important on the test. I'll always give you guys clues in my class so that you can pick it out. Other key indicators are if it's a date, if it's a person, or if it seems like it belongs in the overall theme of the unit. We'll talk more about themes later too. So with sentences, you're just writing a sentence, then that's it. And it's very simple. It's not as organized as some of the other styles we saw. Did anyone see like a pro or a con to whether to the sentence model?
Can't think of a sentence.
Can't think of a sentence. That's good. Now, if you can't think of a sentence, you can always just write down a word or two. Because here's another thing that you're going to learn as you start to get older and take more notes on your own. You're going to learn something called shorthand. Anyone know what shorthand is?
Is that when you have a small hand?
Good one.
No.
It's not funny. My brother has a small hand.
That's never been an issue for me. I've always had big old piano fingers. No, shorthand is when you write things very short. So you write a word, you might just use an abbreviation. A common shorthand for with would be a W and then a backslash. And that means with. You'll kind of develop your own as you take notes a lot on your own, and it helps you to write quickly so you can keep up with the lecturer.
Can you show us that? Because I don't know what backslash is.
Sure. Can't get the oh, actually, I can make this work very easily. So, what I use for with is a W and a slash, just like that. And so you could say Thomas Jefferson was friends with then Franklin.
Can you make that bigger?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And you can see how that took me a lot less time to write than writing out Jefferson and Franklin and with. And this will help you with your sentence structure. Does everyone kind of have a feel of which one they might like best of these two models? I'm just going to start picking people.
I like words. I have the best words.
That's excellent. I'm glad. Jessica.
I like the chart because if I saw that, I would think Thomas J. was somebody in school was friends with Ben.
Well,
Ben,
if,
did you have a friend named Thomas?
if Ben was friends with
Yeah,
Thomas
we're not-
Jefferson,
we're
then
not
he
friends
shouldn't be in
anymore.
eighth
He
grade.
has no friends.
I do have
No,
some
you don't. I
imaginary
see you every
friends.
day at recess, you have no friends.
All right, simmer down. If he was friends with Thomas Jefferson, he probably wouldn't be in eighth grade. Probably be dead.
Would I get extra points if I wrote sentences in my chart?
So, not really. The point of each one is to make sure that you get the information you need. So it's not necessarily important that you write a full sentence, it's important that you know what you need.
So I won't get extra points?
Not for the sentence, unless it's important.
Are you counting spell?
Johnny, it's not musical.
I'm not gonna actually count
I like
spelling, because you
music.
guys are going to be developing your own shorthand.
It's bothering me.
My mom lets me play the drums.